Dallaire from Boulevard Brutal. We're in Jonquière tonight, Chez Pauline. I'm eating a poutine with Kenny from Ancients. Kenny, thanks for being on Boulevard Brutal. Welcome to Jonquière. Welcome to Chez Pauline.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
And you're in Voivod's hometown. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah, our manager actually informed us of that. So
yeah, they used
pretty
to practice.
awesome.
They used to practice like really close to here.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, it's great to be here.
Yeah. So, right in the middle of a Canadian tour. How's it going so far?
It's going amazing. We get to see a lot of the country, and crowds have been excellent for the most part, and just banging some tunes out.
And when I first heard that you were playing in Jonquière, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because you're playing Montreal, Quebec, Jonquière.
Yeah, like it was kind of a last minute addition. Jeff is putting the show on.
Yeah.
He contacted us and noticed that we had a couple days off, so basically, he just made it happen. We're happy to be here, though. It's a beautiful place. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you decided to destroy Canada piece by piece,
exactly.
Starting by Jonquière, right?
Yeah, dismantle.
So, you guys are waving the flag of Canadian heavy metal right now.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the Canadian metal scene?
I think there's a lot of great Canadian metal bands out there. Even just from like where we're from in Vancouver, it's like there's an abundance of killer bands that you can go see on a weekly basis. So I think it's thriving right now, and we have a lot of good bands to compete with our southern neighbors down there. So I think we're doing a good job.
And you're bringing one tonight with you tonight, Dead Choir.
Yes, they're amazing. They're I guess you'd call them like a hard stoner rock metal mixture, but yeah, they're just an amazing band, and they sound great every night.
And they seem to fit with your sound very well, right?
Totally, yeah, and they're just really good friends of ours, so we're just having a blast with them out here on the road.
And let's speak about the last record, Voice of the Void.
Let's do it.
It ended up on a lot of top 10 lists in 2016. Were you expecting such a success with that record when you wrote it, when you recorded it?
I don't really ever expect anything, right? Because just setting yourself up for failure in that kind of situation. It's basically.
The poutine is here.
Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Well,
yeah. So, like I say, I wasn't expecting really anything. It's more of a selfish thing, writing music, like for myself anyway. It's just trying to write things that I enjoy playing. I'm not really kind of trying to impress anybody else while I'm doing it. It's more for the sake of ourselves and what we have fun doing, right? It's the only reason we make music is to give ourselves something to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you please yourself.
like getting on lists and stuff like that is obviously a bonus, and we really appreciate the recognition. But first and foremost, it's basically just for our own selves, right?
And you've been touring since the launch of the record, right?
We've been trying to, yeah. Like we had a replacement. Our guitarist was replaced.
Yes.
So,
Chris left. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris left. He's just he's getting a bit older, and just not sure if he can handle the road as much. So we kind of put a little bit of a halt on the touring process right when the record came out. By the time we kind of got past winter and found a player to play with us, then we were kind of ready to start accepting tours and getting out on the road. So we plan on keeping busy now that we're active again and ready to go.
So did it affect you, like the departure of Chris? Like, was it expected? Like, how did you react to that?
It was somewhat expected, right? Like, you can kind of tell he lost his drive a little bit, like, because musically he did a lot more in the background as opposed to musically for the band, right? Like, he was very good at like getting us out there, and he really enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. Whereas, I'm fairly timid in that regard, and I don't just like cold call people and here, listen to my stuff, right? But he's, to each their own, and he was really good at doing that sort of thing. But I think over the last year or so, he's kind of, his interests have been in other things. Like he's really big into motorcycles and stuff like that, and he's got three adopted kids now, so it takes up a big chunk of his life, right? So
yeah, because in his message he was saying that money was a factor in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, metal music doesn't get you rich.
No.
99% of the time, right?
So the poutine was good?
Poutine was amazing, man. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
When you first started the band,
Yeah.
did you have a specific sound in mind, or it just comes naturally?
No, I didn't. Like me and Chris and Boone, our bassist, we were in another band before called Spread Eagle.
Yeah.
With like Ancients had a different drummer before Mike joined for like maybe 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
We recorded like a couple demo songs, but when we first started, like we always get like the Opeth comparison and stuff like that, Mastodon. I had actually just kind of like found those bands at that point in time, so that's probably where that comes from. Because I was digging on that shit pretty good, like because I never heard it before, and I had pretty big back catalogs to kind of go through. So it was, you know, I'm not really listening to that stuff as much as I was then, but that had kind of a big influence. But like I said before, I never had a set sound of what I wanted to do. I just know I wanted it to be a bit more interesting than the music we were doing before. The band we had before was fun. It was like a party band and like Turbo Negro kind of style cock rock stuff, right? But I just wanted to do something a bit more personally challenging and a bit more expansive, right? So that was just my only real goal, was to just, you know, try and touch on a lot of different stuff that I like, as opposed to just, we're here to party sort of tunes, right? Yeah.
And did you get sick of all those comparisons with Opeth and Baroness and all that?
No, I don't really get sick of it. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, you gotta compare music to something. Like, I don't just hear something and say, this sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. Like, all music always comes from somewhere. It sounds like something, so, you know, it doesn't really anger me at all. I personally, you know, we have clean and heavy vocals, so that could be where the comparison comes from for people, right? But, you know, I don't think we completely sound like an Opeth rip-off band. No, at all. Like, I don't think that we sound identical to Opeth. There's some similarities like that, but like I say, it's not really, you know, an identical match, or it's not something we're striving to be as the next Opeth, right? But I do really enjoy the band, and I think they're a great band, right?
Yeah, and Voice of the Void is much heavier than the first record.
Yeah.
And I've heard that while you've written that record, your wife gave birth to your son, but got sick afterwards.
Yeah, she had some strange disease, I guess you would call it, called postperipartum cardiomyopathy. So long term, basically what it is, it's a heart failure thing that comes with pregnancy. So 3 days after we got out of the hospital from my son being born, I took my wife to like the emergency room because she couldn't breathe when she laid down. So from like the night, it was supposed to be like my first night going back to work, and I took her down to the emergency room at like midnight, and then after that it was like a month of like the worst time of my life. We were in like intensive care for like a month long, and I was like sleeping in a chair. We had like a brand new baby, and you know, it was just crazy time.
Is she okay now?
She's okay now, yeah. So she recovered from it, but it was a scary thing. Like she was, I think, 28 years old when she gave birth, and they couldn't tell me for like the first 3 or 4 days whether she would even survive.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So
Okay.
it was a scary thing. I was awake for probably 3 days straight. And it was, the most wild. It seemed like a nightmare, like living a nightmare, right? So it's like something from the movies where you're like,
I guess.
when will I wake up, kind of thing, right? Like,
It probably affected the writing of the record as well, right?
it totally did. Like we had planned to be going into, we were just working on material, putting stuff together, kind of when all that happened, and it put kind of everything on hold for like another year, right? Because music is very important to me, but family is number one, right? It's kind of, so the music thing had to take a back seat. And obviously, I think because of that, shit was just a bit more angry this time and a bit heavier, right? And a lot more steam to get off my chest this time, right? So I definitely think it played a big part in how the record sounded in comparison to the first one, right? So,
And when you write an Ancients record, do you write the whole music by yourself and then you get to the practice room and show it to the other guys? Or how does it
for the
work?
most part, like majority of songs will usually just start with a bunch of ideas that I come up with sort of at home, try and piece together somewhat. Then when I sort of have a basic idea of the riffs that are going to be in the song, we bring them to the jam room and then we start tweaking them and feeling them out. And sometimes things get changed quite a bit, sometimes they don't, right? But they basically all just start at home, lots of times with an acoustic guitar. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and those harsh vocals,
Yeah.
they come from what? You like black metal?
I do. Well, I like all types of I like all types of music, right? And before this band, I had never sang in a band before or done that kind of singing, right? So it was definitely a learning curve. Like, it took me a while to be able to keep my voice,
I guess.
without killing it, right? So
Scream like that every night is a tough
yeah,
job.
it's it's something you never think you'd be able to do night after night, but I think the voice is just like any other muscle. If you train it enough, you can kind of get away with it. There's still nights it feels a little hoarse, but we get it done pretty good now.
You were talking about family.
Mm-hmm.
How tough is it to be a touring metal dad?
Well, yeah, like I say, like I said, we just got back from a goat whore tour in the States, and then we were home for a few weeks, and now we started this one. First time being away from my son, and not from his wife, or my wife, but
Yeah.
it was pretty kind of tough at first for the first while, but technology these days, I still get to see him every day, and we're not writing postcards to each other, so it makes it a bit easier, right? But it's gets tough sometimes, but I think it will go over not too bad.
What's next for Ancients?
Well, we were thinking we're submitting for some stuff for East Coast of the States. 'Cause
Okay.
we haven't really done that yet on this tour cycle, and we're in talks about some stuff for Europe. We have nothing set in stone yet, so we're nothing I can really break the news on now. But basically, after we get home from this, like I've got a bunch of material that I've kind of been compiling after I get off work. So we're basically just gonna start hashing out some new material and wait for some opportunities to come.
Already, eh?
Yeah. We're just try and get ahead of the game because last time with all of that stuff going on, once like all that stuff with my wife was finished, then basically it felt like the pressure was really on, right? Because it had now been 3 years almost since our last record. So this time I don't really want to be in that situation, and I've been compiling a lot of stuff. Basically I teach guitar for a living, so when I get home from work, my son will be in bed, so I just kind of force myself to come up with 1 or 2 good ideas a night, every night after work and just kind of save it in my phone, sort of thing. And it's the kind of thing that will like spark inspiration later if you go back and listen to it. Oh, I enjoy that. Let's expand on it, sort of thing.
Hopefully
right?
you don't lose your phone like Kirk Hammett did.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Dang it, yeah. I think it transfers directly to my main computer, so
Yeah.
it should be good. It should have been tech savvy, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
now you're playing in Jonquière tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know how to swear in French?
Tabernacle? I don't know.
Calice?
How? What's that one?
Calice.
Carlies?
Calice.
Carlis.
Calice, yes.
Calice.
Let's say you guys fucking rule. You have
Yeah.
to say, you guys rule. Calice.
Carlis. Okay. I'll try it out.
And tabarnak works also.
Very good, yeah.
So you're going to get the crowd to your feet.
Exactly, right?
Well, thanks for your time, Kenny. Much appreciated.
You're very welcome.
Kenny from Mentions, Steve from Boulevard Brutal. Thanks, man.
Thank you.